Here in a traditional Lambic brewery. Lambics are food. Well, it's preserved food. They use malt and unmalted grains, unmalted wheat, to preserve these grains in beer. After the mashing, they leave everything to nature and get a wonderful beer. Here in a Lambic brewery, the wort is boiled for about 4 hours. And then it's exposed to the environment, which means to the open air of Brussels. This air contains several wild strains of yeast, including the Brettanomyces bruxellensis. And there's also lactic and pediococcus. So the beer turns sour. It ferments and matures for between 1 year to 3 years. And then it's blended, so from a lambic it becomes a so-called Geuze. Geuze beers come traditionally from champagne bottles, because they have to stand the pressure. And here in Brussels, they always had an overflow of champagne bottles because Brussels has a huge consumption of champagne. They don't send back the champagne bottles, but they use it to bottle their Geuze beers, because it's the Champagne de Brussels. And so this Brussels champagne, the blend of lambics, it makes a sour beer, a refreshing beer, and a very dry beer. That's the Brettanomyces bruxellensis that makes them dry. So these beers are unique to the area. Brussels, the town in the swamps, has its own microflora and it has its own taste. And this is why people travel to Brussels. We don't know who were the first people to use fruits in beer. Actually, if you put fruits into beer, it's still beer, although the sugar derived from the fruits is actually wine. In old Sumeria, they used dates. Probably in Egypt, they used oranges. But most famous were the Belgians for using cherries. Beers where they put cherries in are called Kriek. Krieken beer is cherry beer. Again, it's a sour beer based on a lambic, and they meserize these fruits into the beer, traditionally cherries, but it could also be apricots, it could be grapes, could be all kinds of fruit, and they're all very tasty because at the moment when you add the fruits, the yeast will start to ferment the sugars from the fruit, and it will blend into the taste of the beer, and the sourness and the fruitiness give you this very unique taste.